This is Platinum Northwest TV News. Good evening. I am Boitumelo Monare. In the headlines, the Northwest Legislature elects new chairpersons of portfolio and select committees. And Minister of Human Settlements Kubayi visits areas affected by floods in Cape Town. Also ahead this evening, tax experts send out a warning to South African businesses. And in the sports news, Stanley dies at the age of 75. First tonight, the Northwest Department of Education is pleased to announce the successful completion of an interactive session held by Education MEC Viola Mutsumi at the Mmabatho Convention Center on Thursday. The event brought together school principals, school governing bodies, secretary representatives of council of learners, and various education stakeholders from across the province. Departmental spokesperson Mpata Mulukwane shares more details.
The Northwest Department of Education is pleased to announce the successful completion of an interactive session held by MEC Viola Mutsumi at Mmabatho Convention Center. The event brings together school principals, school governing bodies, secretaries, representative council of learners, and various education stakeholders from across the province. In her address, MEC Mutsumi emphasized the importance of the interactive session. She highlighted the shared commitment to ensuring excellence, integrity, and a strong dedication to learner success in the governance of schools. As the 2024 to 2026 SGB term of office begins, MEC Mutsumi expressed her heartfelt gratitude to all SGB members for accepting this significant responsibility.
The Northwest Provincial Legislature convened meetings where chairpersons of portfolio and select committees were elected. Now, in terms of Rule 155, the Secretary to Legislature must call a meeting of the committee within 5 working days after the names of members have been announced. The chairpersons elected include Honorable Virginia Hlapi for the Portfolio Committee on Premier and Finance, Honorable Karabo Makhakhane for the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development, as well as Honorable Michael Groenewald for the Standing Committee on the Oversight of the Northwest Provincial Legislature. In more news, the Minister of Human Settlements Kubayi visited areas affected by floods in Cape Town and engaged with community members. Cape Town and the surrounding areas have been hit by more storms on Thursday that have destroyed many homes with widespread flooding, forcing at least 4,500 people out of their homes and damaging at least 15,000 structures. Kubayi engaged the media during her visit to the disaster-stricken areas in Khayelitsha, including Nkandla, Zamimpilo, Kuyasa, and Victoria Mncenge informal settlements.
The challenge we had to look between national, province and municipalities around where do we relocate them to. So the issue, the city says there is no available land currently to be able to relocate. So we've committed that within 2 weeks we will also come back to this council who has asked us for answers and to support him as he works in ensuring that these people don't continue to be flooded like this. So there are about 300 families. We will have to look at various, so the teams between province and local were saying that there are quite a number of land parcels that we do not have access to. So we'll go back and look at what is it that we can say. I'm told there's a land parcel closer to the airport that is privately owned that we can go and approach. The city has been trying to get those people to sell that property, that land, which can actually solve a huge number of challenges that we have. So the relocation of those communities, not only here, and then we know that in the city alone, what we call category C informal settlements, these are informal settlements that are in danger, are more than 800. And if we say 800, for example, we find that it's 300, it's 400 households that we've got to in those 800. So it's work that we have to do. I'll go back to Minister of Finance so that we are also proactive, because I know he's educated by us always spending money in response to the disasters. He's been saying to us, can you be proactive and prevent these disasters or prevent people from drowning, especially in former settlements that you know are likely to be affected. So those are some of the work that we do. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll come back to the councillors here that have been affected, not only the ward that we are in, but all other wards that are in danger zone, so that we give them a plan up front to say this is what we are going to do.
And with that, it's now time for the international news. Kenyan President William Ruto has announced the dismissal of almost his entire cabinet and consultations to form a broad-based government following widespread anti-government protests. Ruto said his decision would apply to all ministers, including the Attorney General, but excluded Foreign Minister Musalia Mudavadi. The East African nation was left reeling after peaceful rallies last month to protest steep tax increases fled into deadly violence, with police firing at crowds who stormed Parliament of Kenya, leaving it partly ablaze. Led largely by young people, the protests plunged Ruto's administration into the most serious crisis of his presidency, forcing him to abandon the tax hikes. In addition to scrapping the annual finance bill, including tax hikes, Ruto has also sought to engage with some protesters, hosting an event on the social media platform X with young Kenyans last week. But this has failed to appease some demonstrators who have continued to call for him to step down using the hashtag #RutoMustGo and staging rallies across Kenyan cities. Well, those were your leading headlines. Stay with us as we head into the business news. In a stunning reversal, South African media group Media24 has halted plans to close several print titles and dismiss employees, pending regulatory approval for the planned sale of its distribution business On the Dot to Novus. In June, Media24 had decided to close the print editions of Beeld, Report, City Press, Daily Sun and Sokala Duma, as well as the digital editions of Volksblad and De Burger Oorskap and the digital hub SNL24 before September. This would have led to the job cuts of around 400 people. Novus is one of Southern Africa's most prominent print publishing and packaging groups. It has a long-standing relationship with Media24 and prints all of its newspapers. Media24 has now confirmed that it will implement retrenchments. It will not, rather, implement retrenchments until the Competition Commission approves its proposal sale of On the Dot and several community papers to Novus. Now, tax experts at consultancy PricewaterhouseCoopers have warned businesses in South Africa to watch out for possible changes to the country's tax laws. This after South African Revenue Services lost against fund manager Coronation to the tune of 800 million rand. Specifically, businesses with international operations should keep their eyes on the next move from National Treasury, which was waiting on the outcome of the SARS versus Coronation matter before looking at new laws around controlled foreign companies and foreign business establishments. In the Coronation case, SARS accused Coronation of underestimating the taxes owed from its Irish subsidiary. The Supreme Court of Appeal agreed with the taxman and ruled that the asset manager should pay nearly 800 million rand in taxes owed. However, the case ultimately made its way to the Constitutional Court, which ruled in favor of Coronation in June, stating that the group correctly interpreted and applied the relevant tax legislation. Well, that's it for the business headlines. We'll now get into the latest in sports. From the world of African football, Moroccan giants Wydad Casablanca have confirmed the appointment of Mokwena as their new head coach. Mokwena has agreed to join the Boitumelo Pro Giants after parting ways with Mamelodi Sundowns last week after leading them to a record-extending 7th successive league title, his 4th at Kleurkorp over 4 years. The former Sundowns boss received approaches from Asfar, US firm Alger and CR Belouizdad, but was intent on the lure of the Boitumelo Pro Giants. By joining Wydad, Mokwena follows in the footsteps of Mosimane, who broke new ground late 2020 to coach Egyptian giants Al Ahly. Mokwena has signed a 2-year deal with the 3-time African champions, while his technical staff is yet to be confirmed. Now, this is what Mokwena had to say on his vision for Wydad.
Listen, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and without even speaking to the board, to the president, about the objectives. But I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I want to win every single game. I want to win every game. I want to try to win every trophy. In sport, it's impossible to win every single game and to win every trophy, but you've got to try. And this club has seen many good years, especially in the 1990s, where they won almost every trophy available, including the Champions League. Went to quite a lot of people, and I even said, a lot of people said to me, "Don't go to Wydad. Don't go to Wydad. There's a lot of problems." But I spoke to the board, I spoke to the chairman, the president, and I spoke to my agent. And I know all the mitigating factors that the club faced last season. I know partly why the team finished the way it finished. And so to try to address those problems, we're going to have to need a lot of work, a lot of hands on deck.
We cannot believe that.
Thank you.
And I told them that for the players we'll see inshallah Saturday and we'll start working. Pour le premier adjoint Diallo, il est déjà dans l'avion. Inshallah demain il sera là.
We are not going to poach any Sundowns players. Yeah, we will respect Sundowns, and
But if they are,
well, if anyone is available at any club, things will be done right. But for sure, we have to respect the club, and I personally have to make sure that we respect Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club, and we respect their players, and respect their assets, and they remain Sundowns players. So I don't want to talk about Sundowns.
And now, Orlando Pirates fans and the supporting community is in mourning after it was announced that Stanley Screamer Tshabalala has died at the age of 75. Tshabalala died in hospital on Thursday afternoon after succumbing to the injury sustained when he was shot at his house in March during a home invasion. Stan, as he was affectionately known, was one of the biggest figures in South African football history. In a distinguished career, Tshabalala was a founding member of Soweto Giants Kaizer Chiefs and went on to wear the colours of Mamelodi Sundowns, where his nickname Screamer was earned. In 1992, he was appointed as the very first Bafana Bafana head coach after South Africa was welcomed back into international football after years of isolation due to apartheid. In recent years, he was a part of the Sitting with Stan show, which was aired on SuperSport. Well, that's where we'll leave it for tonight. From all of us here in studio, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.